guys, it's Harriet the Lion, and today I will be doing a book review of Grandpa's Great Escape by David Walliams. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the lovely cover that he has made or designed or whatever, and I just think it's really cool because it has everything to do with the book. So this lovely Spitfire, I think it's meant to be, with Grandpa here, who is mentioned in the title, and his grandson, and this just is a great portrait of the book. To give you a general idea of the book, I'm not going to read the blurb because I prefer what it says in this little inside bit, because we have the hardback version. So, in his old age, Grandpa has become confused. He believes he is back in World War II, when he was an RAF Spitfire pilot. Only one person can understand him, his grandson Jack. Together they embark on the adventure of their lives. So this blurb and this description is quite accurate. It is about the grandpa has become very confused. He still thinks he's doing the war. He thinks that everything is to do with the war, so he calls his son Wing Commander because he's forgotten that it's his son. He thinks it's he's calling everyone the names of people that he would call them in the war, and he just generally is very confused. So the beginning of the book I find quite slow. The characters are quite funny, but they're not developed as much as they have been before in other books, and it's just not as funny. There are aspects of funny, but the only character it really focuses on is the two on the front cover, and to be honest, it's not as funny as some of the other books that David Walliams has written. I think the idea is very original and it's interesting. I'm not quite as sure that it's an interesting plot because it's quite repetitive in ways of him finding Spitfires, Grandpa getting lost, that sort of thing happens over and over again, and some of it's a bit, well, as I said, repetitive, so it's not as interesting because it's not a flowing plot. The elderly people's home, Twilight Towers, was very sad. I did find it quite sad with all the old people and how they were treating them, and I just thought it was just so sad. But there were funny aspects of it, like how Grandpa kept things in his moustache, his pills, instead of taking them. Little spoiler there, but it doesn't spoil too much. I find it very interesting, and there are funny parts of the escape especially is very funny, and I did enjoy reading about the escape, but I thought that that there was, like, the grandpa and the old lady that they saved at the end could have become an item because they were quite cute together, instead of the ending that I really didn't like, and it was very sad. I don't think it was relevant. I don't think it should have been part of the plot, and I think it could make some small children quite sad. I don't think it had to happen. I just don't think that should have happened as the ending. And lastly, I'd just like to compare it to some of the other books that David Walliams has written. I think that the last few books he's written are mainly dependent on family members, which is okay, but I would have preferred if it was like not to do with family members like the other ones. And it was quite similar to Awful Auntie, which was about someone being kept in a certain place and she was stuck there, and that's quite similar to the Twilight Towers as with the grandparent, which is the same as Gangster Granny, in the aspect of, like, they ask for adventure and they're doing things that they wouldn't be expected to do at that age, which is a good idea, but in two books so similar, I don't think that was a good move in the way that he could have done some things differently to the way that he'd done other books, and I didn't like Awful Auntie that much either, his most recent one. I still thought it was good, I still enjoyed it, but as David Walliams' work, I find that the ones from earlier on were more exciting and more original, and I'd like some more of that in his most recent books. For example, my favourite book is Billionaire Boy, and I also enjoyed Mr. Stink. In all my book reviews now, I'm going to do ratings, like a star rating out of 5, like they do on like different products and different movies. So I'm going to give this book a 2.5 out of 5. I did enjoy it, but as I said, my expectations for Walliams were quite high, and it was not to my expectations. But thank you for watching. I'd just like to tell you that it's just my opinions. I don't mean to offend anyone. If you love that book, great. Please discuss it in the comments below if anyone actually watches this video. But thank you. See you next video.